All right, let's talk to you. Yeah, you. The one who's smiling on the outside, but man, you're fighting these invisible wars inside, especially at night. If you've ever felt like your own mind is your worst enemy, well, you're in the right place. We're going to arm you with some seriously powerful, ancient wisdom for that battle.
So let's just jump right in with a huge idea from a Roman emperor, of all people, a guy named Marcus Aurelius. And you know, Stoicism, it's not about being some cold, emotionless robot. Not at all. It's more like a practical toolkit for making your mind strong. And this quote, it's pretty much the key to everything we're going to talk about. The real power isn't trying to control what happens out there. It's all about controlling how you respond to it. That's the secret sauce, right there. Don't forget it.
Okay, first things first. Let's talk about that battlefield inside your head. Because let's be real for a second. The deadliest, most brutal battle any of us will ever fight, it's not out in the world. No, it's the one raging right between our own ears.
And here's what's so wild about this. Think about it. Stuff happens out there in the world that causes pain, right? That's just a given. A breakup, losing a job, someone betraying you, of course that hurts. But the thing is, it's our thoughts about what happened that keep that pain alive. Our thoughts are what put it on a loop, playing it over and over and over, long after the actual event is finished.
And come on, we've all been there, haven't we? It starts with just one tiny thought. Something like, I'm not good enough, or, man, I always mess things up. It seems small, but if we don't get a handle on it, it just spirals. It grows and grows like this poison, until it doesn't even feel like a thought anymore. It feels like who we are, like it's our entire identity.
So how in the world do we fight back against that? Well, that brings us to the next big idea here. You are not your thoughts. The very first step is learning how to create some space, some distance, learning to be the observer of the storm, not the storm itself. All right, let's get into our first tool.
Okay, this right here, this is maybe the most important truth of all. You are not every single random, weird, or painful thought that just happens to float into your brain. I want you to picture this. You are the big, vast, unchanging sky. And your thoughts? They're just clouds. Some are dark and stormy, some are light and fluffy, but guess what? They are always just passing by. You know, here's another great way to think about it. Imagine your mind is like a radio. It's just always on, always playing different songs, flipping through different stations. Some songs you love, and some, well, you definitely don't.
And just because a really negative thought, you know, a song you absolutely can't stand, suddenly starts playing on that radio,
It doesn't mean you have to jump up and dance to it. You have the power to just notice a song, maybe even say, huh, there's that terrible song again. And then, this is the key, you deliberately change the station. You are the DJ here, not some helpless listener stuck with whatever comes on.
And this just perfectly sums up a point from another one of these brilliant Stoics, a guy named Epictetus. See, the thought itself isn't really the problem. It's the opinion we glue onto it. It's the belief we have that the thought is 100% true and super important. That's what causes all the suffering.
Okay, so this leads us right into another huge idea. You know that initial flash of anger, or fear, or jealousy? It's loud, it's messy, and honestly, it's often totally irrational. That feeling is not the final truth. Think of it like the first big wave crashing onto the shore. Real wisdom is just waiting a second for the water to settle.
So the whole game is about creating a little gap, a little pause between that first feeling and how you react. And here's a super simple, practical way to do it. Step 1, just pause. Seriously, do nothing. Step 2, name the emotion. But don't say, I am angry. Say, I am feeling anger. See the difference? That creates separation. And then step 3, you consciously delay your reaction. That tiny little pause, that's where you take all your power back.
All right, so now we know how to observe our thoughts and hit the pause button. Let's move on. It's time to talk about rewriting your inner story. This is where we get active. This is about changing those painful narratives we tell ourselves. It's time to become the editor of your own mind.
You know, so much of our pain comes from one simple mistake. We confuse a fact with a story. Just look at this. The fact is, I failed the exam. Okay, that's an objective thing that happened. But the story your mind spins is, I am a failure. And that is a really painful and probably totally false interpretation. The Stoics were all about understanding that we have the power to pull those two things apart.
And here's a really powerful exercise you can do. Like right now, grab a piece of paper,
First, just write down the raw fact. No emotion, no drama, no judgment. Then, second, write down that big, dramatic story your mind is telling you about that fact. And third, you need to challenge that story like you're a lawyer in a courtroom. Ask it, is this story 100% true? Where's the evidence? And you'll be amazed at how often that story just completely falls apart.
This brings us to a really cool Stoic concept called amor fati. It literally means a love of fate. Now hold on, this does not mean you have to be happy when bad things happen. Not at all. What it means is you stop arguing with reality. You actively accept what is, right here, right now. Because fighting with the past, that is a battle you will lose every single time. It's about looking at a situation and saying, okay, this is what it is. My energy is way better spent on what I do next, not on wishing things were different.
So we all know that voice in our heads, right? The one that sounds like a broken record, just whining. This shouldn't have happened. It's not fair. Well, what's the Stoic answer to that voice?
You look reality right in the eye, and you say, but it did. So, now what? That simple little question, it flips the entire script. It takes you from being a victim of your past to being the author of your future. Just like that, all the power comes right back to you.
Okay, so we've got some mental tools. We're ready. So for this last section, let's talk about fortifying your inner world. This is all about the daily habits, the small things you do to make your mind a fortress, not a battlefield. This is where we build real, practical, everyday resilience.
And we're going to focus on 3 principles here. They're simple, but man, are they powerful. We're talking detox your environment, respect your energy, and practice gratitude.
First up, your environment. And let's just be brutally honest here. If you are constantly surrounded by people who do nothing but complain, if you're scrolling through social media that just makes you feel bad about yourself, if you're living in total chaos, you are literally feeding the negative thoughts you're trying so hard to kill. Your mind is a mirror of your surroundings. It's time to clean them up.
Second, let's talk about your energy. Because sometimes all that negative thinking, it's not some deep, dark psychological issue. Sometimes you're just tired. You're not broken, you're just tired. You're not weak, you're just drained. Your mind gets really, really loud when your body is running on empty. So stop treating exhaustion like it's some kind of character flaw. It's not. It's a signal. Your body is telling you it's time to rest.
And finally, gratitude. Another Stoic, Seneca, just hits the nail on the head with this one. Most of our negativity really comes from that feeling of lack, right? That constant craving for what we don't have. Well, gratitude is the ultimate weapon against that feeling. And look, it's not about pretending everything's perfect. It's about forcing your brain to stop and acknowledge the good that's already in your life right now.
So, at the end of the day, what's the big takeaway from all this? It's simple, really. Your mind can either be your absolute worst enemy or it can be your most powerful ally. It can be a battlefield of constant anxiety or a fortress of unshakable peace. And the best part? The choice is yours. You're the architect. So go build.